Guilty! 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 They won't let us come to their headquarters. Well, then we'll come in other ways! In ways you won't fucking like! Legally, we're gonna take your goddamn home! I'm angry! This is bullshit! I will not fucking rest until Haven's fucking Spiegelman cannot rest. He should not sleep soundly at night! He should not feel comfortable in his fucking home! Because Fentanyl reached into my fucking home and it killed my son! Let's stand together and fight this!
I'll tell you, it really got me listening to that father when he was on that megaphone screaming, "You took my child, you took my fucking kid." I mean, I think everyone there, myself included, we sure felt his pain, and it angered me. It angered me to know that a child can go online, hit up whatever they are looking at, and buy drugs that aren't even that are poison, and end up dead. It angers me.
I miss him so much. Fuck. I miss that boy so much. You know, I loved my kid when he was alive. Does it make any sense that I love him more than ever before? When you think that there's a limit to the love that you can have for your own child. And he's gone. And my love for him has just exploded, man.
Attention Santa Cruz, since August, code 3902R. Santa Catarina Road, cross up Plum Canyon. Possible OD from narcotics, tag 112, Santa Cruz Unit 1.
My son consumed half of what he thought was a blue M30 oxycodone pill, and that half pill took his life. Please explain to me what pharmaceutical trademarked pill in the market today that you can get prescribed by your doctor can take the life of anyone. Please explain to me how half an oxycodone pill can take your life.
And tonight, an urgent warning from the DEA about fentanyl, laced drugs on the streets of America. There are millions of these dangerous fake pills out there, and they are killing thousands of Americans.
The Centers for Disease Control will soon be releasing the overdose death statistics for 2020. Tragically, these numbers will show 2020 was the deadliest year on record. Especially troubling is the impact the increase in drug overdose deaths is having on us here locally in the greater Los Angeles area. The synthetic opioid fentanyl is playing a major role in this.
My mission, my new mission in life, since my son Daniel passed away on April the 6th of 2020 due to fentanyl poisoning, is to try to save as many lives as possible. And the only way that that can be done is by spreading awareness.
Last year, we seized 1.2 million counterfeit pills containing fentanyl here in Los Angeles. And there are more than 10 times as many of these pills on the street today than there were just 3 or 4 years ago.
I know thousands upon thousands upon thousands of parents who have absolutely no recourse. They have absolute no recourse. They don't know who to go to. They don't know who to talk to. they had no idea of the dangers of fentanyl. But illicit fentanyl is in the United States, and especially here in Southern California. It's throughout our county, and every day in the United States is killing 280 souls every day.
In his case, there was enough fentanyl to kill 4 people in his blood system. He had been acting kind of funny. His mood, he was having some pretty drastic mood swings. He wasn't working out every day like he had been. Something had changed, and his dad and I had been talking like, okay, something's going on. Is he sick? Like, I would talk to him, ask him, how are you feeling? And he's fine, he's fine. Well, then on June 21st, he came to us, and he told us he had been experimenting with pills the last few days, and that they really had a hold on him, and he didn't understand why. So that night, you know, of course we agreed we were going to get him help, and Monday, June 21st, I called a place to help, and they needed to get back to me. He went about his day. He got his hair cut that day. He went and saw some friends that day. He and his sister unusually got along unusually. That night he came home about 9 o'clock. I heard him, you know, walk right up to his bedroom. We yelled out, "Hi, Alex." And that night he took his last pill. On the morning of June 23rd, I went to go wake him, and he was gone. I called 911. His dad administered CPR. The paramedics came, of course, and they took him to the hospital. And I knew he was gone already. I'll never forget that nurse coming in and saying, "I'm sorry, we couldn't save him." There's these images as a parent that you were gonna live with forever, that finding him, that saying goodbye to him in the hospital. I remember stroking his hair. It was so soft because he had just got it cut the day before. Feeling a little scar on his head. Just before Alex died, somebody else died in this drug dealer's apartment. 2 weeks after Alex died, another young man named Hector died in a town, one town over, same from the same drug dealer. So, you know, if they had started an investigation with that first death, who knows if Alex and Hector would be here, but they would be investigated. There would be some kind of protocol to place the blame on the drug dealer instead of the victim.
For the last 6 months, I've been working with their family and several other stakeholders to craft legislation seeking to prevent further tragedies like this one from happening in our communities. And I am proud to stand here today as the author of SB 350, which we have named Alexandra's Law, introduced earlier this month in the California State Senate.
It was warning drug dealers that if they continued dealing illicit fentanyl or its analogs, or any illicit drug, and it took the life of another, if they committed the same crime and it happened again where another person lost their life, they could be charged with second-degree murder. I'm gonna scream to the top of the roofs, man, until people start listening. I've said it before, it feels like sometimes I'm in this room with a plexiglass, 4-inch thick plexiglass, pounding on it until my fists are bloody, like yelling at, and everybody keeps walking by, not paying attention to me, not listening to me, not seeing me, and I'm yelling out till I have no more in me.
Like you're invisible.
Like I'm invisible. And parents just don't understand it because they say, oh, this could never happen to my child.
For the parents to say, back in my day, I think you might have bumped your head. Because my day back then is not my day today. Today is a different story. Tell me one drug that is out there today that's not physically and emotionally addictive. You can't. They all are. Tell me what was going on, let's say 20 years ago with little Johnny. He'd go home, he'd go to school, he'd come home, mom would be waiting with milk and cookies. Today, if mom and dad are even living together, they're both working. So everything has changed. Families used to stay and hang out together and have dinner. Today it's different. I'm not blaming anyone, it's different.
So here we are, Capitol in Sacramento, pulling for SB 350.
So we were very excited. There was a lot of tension in the air, a lot of nervousness. We had worked very, very hard in getting the support needed for SB 350. There was overwhelming support for the bill, so we felt that we had a very, very good chance of getting this bill passed.
And no one deserves to die this way. You might be asking yourself, so where is this drug dealer now? It should come as no surprise to you that he is free, living his life, continuing to sell drugs to unsuspecting kids and adults, while my child is in an urn on a shelf in his bedroom. The game has changed and we need new rules. SB 350 is a step in the right direction. It won't bring back my Alex, but it will surely save others. Thank you.
I'm now going to ask, are there any additional witnesses in support of SB 350 here in room 4203?
Good morning. My name is Jaime Puerta. I'm here representing my dead son, Daniel Joseph Puerta Johnson, who died on April the 6th, 2020, due to fentanyl poisoning. He was only 16 and a half years old, and he's now gone. I strongly support SB 350. Thank you.
Thank you. Next witness.
They first began with the people in support. And it was approximately about an hour and 45 minutes of people calling in support of Senate Bill 350. Against Senate Bill 350, there was 15 minutes of phone calls that came in. That was it, no more. Then the committee members began to discuss it.
You know, accidental drug overdose, and I believe that most overdoses are accidental, in my mind does not equate manslaughter or murder.
That is not an overdose. When they ingest these pills, unknowingly to them, they don't know that it has fentanyl in it. They have absolutely no idea that there's fentanyl in it. They consume it and they die. There's a huge difference between an overdose and a poisoning.
What drug overdose is, however...
We're going to ask you to contain yourselves. If you can't, you're going to be asked to leave the room.
What?
Leave the room then. Leave the room.
What drug overdose is sad and unfortunate, and it is something that we should be talking about openly and without stigma. We over-medicate, we self-diagnose, we stigmatize depression, and we do it all in the silence of darkness. And we collectively are at fault for not having much more open discussions about all of those issues. A number of family members on the phone who spoke in support of the bill said, fentanyl is the murderer. Fentanyl is the murderer. And if that is the case, I would fully support us putting fentanyl on trial.
But what is missing here, as I think some of the senators have tried to articulate, there is a level of culpability from the user.
Had the gall to say that the death of our children was our children's responsibility. In hindsight, I think he baited me.
And
Fucking idiot!
And
That was not a drug user.
and
I got so angry I jumped out of my chair and I called him a fucking idiot. That's what I did, and I said it from the very top of my lungs.
what we need to understand, this is about drug use, whether it's illegal street drugs or pharmaceutical drugs prescribed to a user that's not prescribed by a healthcare professional. There's inherent risk in doing so.
That was so hurtful. It's still hurtful today that he would say something like that, because I understand then and there that they didn't take the time to study the issue at hand. And I also understood by his words right then and there, which is what really made me upset, that many more children were going to die due to their inaction. I knew right then and there that many more families, like my own family, would have the same fate as mine.
I know we want to wrap this hearing up, so I will just say that I am thankful to the people who came to testify today. I know it was hard. I want you to think about the things they said. I want you to think about their experiences. I want you to think about the things that I've said. And I know some of you have expressed reservations about this bill.
And as I was escorted out by the county sheriffs, one of the sheriffs actually came to me and hugged me and said he was so sorry for my loss and sorry that the bill was not going to pass.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
SB 350, due pass to appropriations. Bradford. Ochoa Bogue.
Aye.
Ochoa Bogue, aye. Comlager. Skinner. Weiner. Weiner, no. The vote's 1-1.
1-1, that measure fails.
I cried and cried and cried some more. As I was escorted out, I had to stop and take a deep breath. I thought I was going to pass out. And as soon as I walked out those double glass doors, my wife came to me and hugged me and held me up. And I think all of the tension and the nervousness and the frustration, it all came out at the same time.
As we stand here this morning, I wish that I had better news for you. I wish I could tell you that the members of the Public Safety Committee voted to protect children and put away drug dealers, but I cannot tell you that. Only one member of the committee, Senator Ochoa Bogue, had the courage to stand up for kids and the victims of this deadly epidemic, and I want to thank her for her support. To say that I am saddened and disappointed is a gross understatement. I don't exactly know how to express how I feel.
These families behind me, and all of the families that are here in front of me, we have to live with the pain of losing our children every day. And our goal, our only goal, is to spare other families from that pain. I am Colombian American, and I do not believe in racial justice or social justice. I believe in justice. And we will have our justice, come hell or high water, with you or without you. Either get on board or get out of office.
He was my heart. And I just want to say, I don't want to go on, but evil triumphs. Evil triumphs when good people fail to act. Yes. Evil triumphs when good people fail to act. Evil triumphs when good people fail to act. The fact that they won't cooperate with subpoenas, the fact that they won't cooperate with law enforcement makes Snapchat guilty. 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 Guilty! They're hiding behind you. You have children. You have relatives. Yes. You have people the same age as our children who you know and love.
Snapchat has an emblem or a trademarked logo, which is a ghost. What do ghosts do? They disappear, which is why Snapchat is the #1 used platform for not only drug dealing, but for sex trafficking, child prostitution, wildlife trafficking, and the list goes on.
Mr. Spiegel, you and all your executives are just as culpable for the death of my son Daniel as the drug dealer who delivered it to him. Yes.
Snapchat is allegedly involved in my son's case because that was the platform used for the delivery system, where my son allegedly went onto Snapchat, ordered himself a 1 blue M30 pill, which he thought was a pharmaceutical trade marked pill, and it turned out to be a counterfeit.
You and your company are accomplices to my son's murder, and understand this, that this is just the start of our campaign against you until verifiable reform has been accomplished and not one more child dies due to your corporate malfeasance. Thank you.
My son died in his bedroom, alone. My son died in the safest place in the world, which was his bedroom. And he died alone. Somebody delivered to my son, a block from my home, that fatal pill.
I'm angry! This is bullshit! I will not fucking rest until Haven's fucking Spiegelman cannot rest. He should not sleep soundly at night! He should not feel comfortable in his fucking home! That's right. Because fentanyl reached into my fucking home and it killed my son!
He said he was going to go out and meet another friend that night, and I told him, don't go out, stay home. You know, we'll get up early tomorrow, we'll work on that paper, we'll crush it this weekend. He was feeling like he was behind. I said, we'll take care of this, don't even worry about it. And I gave him a hug and a kiss goodnight. He's a big hairy man, you know. I left him there in his bed. And when I came back 12 hours later, less than 12 hours later to see him, I found him still in his bed. He hadn't responded to my calls or anything, which was kind of normal because he slept in. But when I saw him in his bed, I saw there were like rings of mucus around his nose, and I knew something was wrong. And as I crossed the room, all my hopes evaporated from my life. And I picked up I touched him, and he was ice cold. And then I knew that was it. But I still gave him mouth to mouth and CPR for probably close to half an hour, screaming and crying while I waited for the police to come, covered in his, well, you know, I don't want to get into the graphics of it, but it was pretty fucking horrible. And, you know, this is the kid whose umbilical cord I cut.
At the Snapchat rally, sitting down with that father, you know, I'd like to say it didn't affect me, but it did. I mean, it always affects you when you talk to somebody you could actually feel that pain. It's so much, you know? So I was feeling the pain with him. I was, and it's a sad situation.
When you take a pill that is bought from Snapchat or on the streets, it's Russian roulette with 3 bullets. I'm watching kids die that are not drug addicts, that are young kids that want to get high or feel something different. They're going out and buying something that they think is different, and they're dying. And it's cut not just in pills. It's cut in cocaine. It's cut in crystal meth. I know a child that died smoking weed.
Your corporate responsibility on top of that is to stop this mayhem and carnage in our community. You are responsible for the deaths of boys and girls, aged 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 years old. Children who will not ever be what they could have been because of your app. Your app is guilty of murder or an accessory to murder. Figure it out. I found my son dead. And it's something that no parent should ever have to witness in their life.
He's so passionate, man. I mean, he's on such a mission to save our children that all I can do is want to help him. I mean, I feel his pain every time I'm with him. I knew his son. What a great kid. I knew Jaime before he lost his kid. What a great man.
I'll get you home when you are tired.
No, it's all right, Daniel. We're live, though. Say hi, world.
Stand next to you.
It was a blessing. Greatest kid in the world.
When you're in the fire, I'll get you home.
I'm never gonna see my son have kids. I'm never gonna be a grandfather.
I'll tell the truth.
Mommy and Daddy's little one. And I couldn't protect them. Protect them.
I'd rather be known than keep it inside. Oh, get you home, never leave you alone, and I will get you home. If I knew before